Good afternoon, gamers. My name is KarQ. It is currently Monday, October 15th, and we have a director's take from Aaron Keller. The new Season 13 begins tomorrow, October 16th, Tuesday, at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. But this video, again, the director's take is kind of Aaron Keller, the game director representing the devs' point of view on some of the upcoming changes for Season 13. So let's see what he has to say. Here we go. Let me read it out to you. Hello and happy autumn. It's that time of year where there is chill in the air and everything seems to have a pumpkin spice flavor. Bleh. And you can feel the magical spirit of Halloween quickly approaching. So in case you missed it, we revealed a lot of cool tricks and treats coming for Season 13 in our dev updates video, including an up-close look at the new Spellbinder Widowmaker Mythic skin, a detailed look at the 4 maps that are getting major changes. Those are Nambani, Havana, Dorado Circuit Royale, by the way. New updates to the in-game scoreboard, thank God, and a first look at the hauntingly fun Junkenstein's Laboratory. Okay, so to kick things off, let's take a look at the tank adjustments. Oh, so Aaron's giving you his thoughts on the tank changes they added. So Ramatra's Pummel, while in the Nemesis form, is getting an adjustment that will better give opponents a chance to take cover without really impacting the lethality of the attack. The attacks from Ramatra's punches will no longer pierce barriers, but instead will deal 2.5 times the damage on them. So Rhine Shield, Sigma Shields, instead of taking damage, which is nice, your shields will be taking 65 base damage times 2.5. So that's like 162.5. I did that calculation in my head, by the way. So each ram punch, 162 damage to the barrier. So that is going down pretty fast after a couple of punches, which can arguably be good and bad, because like if a Rhine's in a 1v1 with Ram and he's holding up his shield, he might be getting punched by Ram, but he's only taking 65 a pop minus the armor, right? And then nobody else on the enemy team can shoot you. But if Ram is punching and obviously you're not dealing any damage right away, but adds shield pressure and it pops the Rhine shield, then everybody can shoot the Rhine and maybe you get slept. So like it's not necessarily a net nerf, but it is a playstyle adjustment. Okay, so Aaron says this gives Ramatra more strategy to decide whether to focus on breaking a barrier, which can leave opponents vulnerable to attacks from your teammates, or instead focus on individual targets. Heroes like Reinhardt now have to make more of a choice. They have to use their barrier's health or eat the punches themselves. We hope this change can make for a more interesting engagement while Ram is in his Nemesis form. Mauga is getting a buff to Gunny, his incendiary chain gun, where the ignite damage over time will now last 4 seconds. When you combine that with the burst potential of Cha-Cha, the volatile chain gun, Mauga will have more reason to stay focused on smaller targets without making him stronger against other tanks. So in short, that is a buff to Mauga, right? Usually in the tank matchup, they're always burning and Mauga just nonstop, just right? But then the fact that the burn lasts a little longer incentivizes him to shoot people at mid to long range. Could be okay. I don't think Mauga's particularly overpowered right now. I didn't really enjoy the Mauga meta though when he was overpowered. Curious to see. I don't think this really moves the needle too much for him, so don't like overreact, guys, by hearing that. I think it's an okay change. For supports, you're going to see a more notable change for Juno, who has performed really well. She remains popular and we expect that to continue well into Season 13, but we want to bring in her healing potential a bit and encourage players to rely on her mobility more. So first off, her fall off range is reduced, which will require her to be closer to allies to heal or enemies to attack effectively. So that's a nerf. Fall off range being reduced means your gun becomes wet, like a wet noodle, the further away people are. So you incentivizes her to play closer to them. I mean, that's what he said, but I just like explaining it again in a different way in case you didn't get it the first time. Okay, the Medi Blaster also has a small nerf to the healing amount. You can expect some changes for Brig and Bap this next patch as well. Aaron also says we have quite a few big changes to a couple of our damage heroes. Sojourn has changes to her Railgun and Disruptor Shot that will give her more skill to her playstyle. The energy no longer holds a minimum of 25, but instead will now deteriorate much slower. We're also powering up Disruptor Shot to be stronger. More damage per second, it's increased to 80, and will generate a small amount of energy for the Railgun for any of the damage dealt. We're also looking to make the ability feel less ignorable for opponents and reward anyone playing Sojourn with well-placed Disruptor Shots. These changes are focused on getting more power into her kit outside of the Railgun shot itself and make her neutral, the neutral part of her gameplay, feel better. Isn't that like a fighting game term? Be stronger than neutral. All right, Alec Dawson, the lead hero designer, mentioned changes we had coming for Sombra in our previous director's take, and we are now ready to share these details of what you can expect. We are moving stealth away from being a passive that activates on its own to instantly triggering every time you use Translocator. It will now only stay active for 5 seconds after you translocate. Oh, so timed stealth again. So this change moves away from allowing Sombra to take any position she wants, but instead gives her a gameplay loop that increases her lethality. Sombra is briefly revealed when she takes damage or uses her hack instead of losing the stealth entirely. Translocator also has a longer cooldown, so you need to carefully plan how you attack your enemies or use the ability as an escape route. We're also giving back Sombra her opportunist passive, which allows you to see targets that are critically injured through walls, along with increasing the weapon's damage over time. We've also reduced the hack ability lockout to 1 second, which has been a frustrating part of her kit that opponents have had to deal with. We will be watching how you all adapt to these changes and what new strategies you deploy with this new playstyle. Wow, those are some very big changes to Sombra. No more permanent stealth, which is kind of like a noob trap, so you have a very brief moment, but you are basically forced to be engaging in the fights at all times. Yeah, that is very interesting. I have no idea how this will play out. My initial thoughts are like, I mean, Sombra used to be like what, like 15, 20-second timer in Overwatch 1. I played so many different iterations of Sombra. They've all been equally annoying, I'm going to be honest with you. Not like overpoweringly annoying, but like just like, you know, like stubbing my toe kind of annoying. Curious to see if this is like bashing my toe against like a brick wall or actually stubbing my toe on the coffee table. I have no opinion of this right now because seeing it on paper means nothing until I play it. Okay, now finally, let's talk about competitive play and matchmaking. We still want you to encourage you to group up with your friends even when playing comp, so we have several changes to matchmaking which should help. Matchmaking for the wide pool has been turned to focus on shorter queue times. We think having evenly matched players on the tank role is really important, so we've upgraded our role delta tech to prioritize matching tank players against each other even more closely than other roles. Playing in pre-made groups is a great way to play Overwatch, especially in comp, but at the highest ranks, we think the advantage of grouping becomes pretty overwhelming. So higher rank matches will now take into account the benefit of grouping when constructing a match. We've also turned down the multiple modifiers related to MMR decay. This will make it more difficult for new accounts to unfairly climb higher into top 500 than they might deserve without punishing more seasoned accounts or accounts with more data. Finally, at top 500, you'll now be required to complete the seasoned competitor lifetime challenges, which requires the player to win 750 games in competitive play in Overwatch 2 as a whole before you can appear on any season's top 500 leaderboard. With these changes, we are confident in lowering the individual season threshold for games played on a roll to 25 per season. This will allow our veteran and seasoned players to not feel pressured to play as much throughout the season, and there will be some other changes to matchmaking, so be sure to read up on our patch notes when the new season goes live on Tuesday. We can't wait for you to jump in game to check out all these changes to our heroes and competitive play. Let us know what you think, and be sure to tune in this Monday for even more in our developer update. Well, I guess they have a full video out at the same time right now, right? It's going to be enchanting. Thanks, everyone. Let's make a great game. Let me go back to that top 500 part. 750 win games in Overwatch 2 for the last 2 years. Doable for anybody who's played on a long account, but this will disincentivize people to make a fresh new account, get their 25 or 50 wins and be on the leaderboard right away. You need to play quite a bit. I mean, I definitely qualify, so I have no qualms with this. All right, let me know what you guys think of the director's take. Hope you enjoyed me yapping. Peace out.